Howard Lutnick, and he always puts his dumb ass in front of a camera to talk about how bad the economy is as everyone's experiencing reality. He likes to then get in front of cameras and talking about how great all of these tariff deals really are.
You mentioned you're working on the documents. When do you think the market can get its hands on written documentation on the deals with Japan, UK, Vietnam, Korea? Is that how long ago? How far away is that?
Well, these are kind of weeks away for the Japan and Korea model, but the other models are set. I mean, you already have Vietnam has agreed to open its market. These countries have agreed to open their market. They bring down their tariffs. It's not that you're not going to find a big, long, 250-page trading agreement. It's very simple. Bring down your tariffs to zero. Open the market to American exporters so that we can finally sell our agriculture overseas, finally sell our seafood overseas, finally sell our beef overseas. I mean, our producers have Stockholm Syndrome.
Howard Lutnick was asked about when these deals are finally going to be signed. Do you guys remember? Have you heard anyone talk about all these deals that they said they're going to be making and how they potentially have not been signed? No paperwork, no agreements. These are all verbal things that Donald Trump then goes in front of cameras and sends these guys like him and Scott Bessent in front of cameras to talk about. And I remember I went through a long article. I know it gets boring, but I went through a long article about how they've signed nothing. Nothing has been signed. These have been verbal agreements. And now, when are we going to get these deals signed? Finally, someone asked him, where's the paperwork, bro? As if they don't know how these things work. But Lutnick said, another couple weeks. It was April 2nd when they announced all of these tariffs that are going to then transition into deals to make everyone prosperous and turn this country into this golden age economy that they keep talking about. April 2nd. Bro, it's August 20th. And it's been a couple weeks, every couple weeks, till it's another couple weeks. Finally, we can sell beef, except they kind of can't because they're struggling under your economy. This is what customers are dealing with. Speaking of beef and the prices.
A vote for Trump means your groceries will be cheaper.
$7 for 3 ears of corn. That just seemed twice as much as I've ever seen corn for anywhere.
My budget has become double for food shopping.
Parmesan cheese, it was $12.99 and now it's $16.99.
Especially the beef. Really? The beef. Yeah, everything is going up, but the beef is going up tremendously.
And the tariffs are paid by the consumer, okay? The companies pay it, but then they pass on the costs.
I don't think it's going to get any better soon.
Oh, yes, it's gotten ridiculous right there. It's kind of depressing to go in the Walmart. You used to go with $100 right there and come out with bags of groceries. Now you go with a couple of bags in your hand.
But prices will come down. You just watch. They'll come down, and they'll come down fast.
Those prices have been coming down just as fast as his ability to negotiate an end to this war in Ukraine that Russia invaded. Still hasn't happened. In fact, it's going the opposite way. That was a small part of a report from CBS Evening News that was talking to people who grocery shop and discover that their bills are going higher. It's weird. Because, again, that same guy who was lying on the campaign trail, that, folks who exposed that lie at the time were called having Trump derangement syndrome. That guy who said they're coming down quick, he said everything's cheaper. There's just this problem with reality that everyone else is seeing the exact opposite. But I'm wondering at some point, they're going to just say, you deserve it. There actually was one Republican that said that.
Well, I think a lot of people are seeing higher prices. Our family's in the construction business, and we get a lot of our timber from Canada and other countries. Yes, it's higher. Steel prices are up, but it's for the good of the country.
He said, you absolutely deserve it. We need higher prices. It's good for America, is what he said. It's not just all those beef prices. And I don't think about the Walmarts having their higher prices that they told us they would have. It's also about those basic things. I wonder when RFK Jr. is going to get involved with making America healthy again, and we can eat more clean fruits and vegetables. If you're willing to pay, able to pay that much.
Wholesale prices for domestic fresh and dry vegetables skyrocketed nearly 40% in July compared to a year ago.
You normally don't see a big move in 1 month that much. I mean, the biggest 1 month move for a summer month since I think 1947. That's a big move. 3 things happening here: weather and drought. So you've got supply issues, worker shortages, and you've got farmers saying that there are fear on some of these farms of deportation. So they're having a hard time getting some of these crops in, and then tariffs on on imported vegetables and food, that's something that can make prices rise for domestic as well. So this is producer level. Will it be passed on to the consumer? Sure. Unclear yet, but we'll know pretty quickly. Very thin margins for food items. Yeah. So this means that grocery store chains will have to eat the costs, pun intended, or we'll have to pass it on, and we'll know pretty soon, probably.
We'll find out soon. I saw a couple of you guys talking about how prices have completely doubled for the amount that people may spend. There was another report where I saw where Walmart stores in certain rural communities where they're kind of the only store that was within a certain number of 10 to 15, 20 miles are closing because people are spending less because they have less. So they're not making the same profits that they made before. Why are we out here with all of these folks that don't have enough money to keep us afloat, our billionaire corporation? So they get the hell out of there. And as we've always seen, the least connected, the lowest economic groups in the country, they always suffer first. It's getting to everyone else. Matter of fact, there was economists that were talking about how much worse it could get and how quickly it could. There was a Goldman Sachs economist that talked about how this is going badly. A report Goldman Sachs economists published over the weekend estimated that Americans absorbed 22% of tariff costs through June. But this share will rise to 67% by October if tariffs, quote, follow the same pattern as the earliest ones. Trump did not specifically reference that report in his post. I'll get to his post because he responded to that very verifiable fact that people have been paying 22% more. That's what's been going up. But eventually, as we've seen, I feel like I play these similar videos, but I want to make sure it's a different one every time. So you don't think I'm just regurgitating this one person at this one grocery store and this one ownership group or this one corporation or this one small business that are all saying the same thing. Our costs are going up. I think it was last week. The producer costs are going up. Everything is going up. And I'm not sure where else things can go except for up for everyone. But this guy goes in front of cameras and brags, you know how much billions of dollars we're bringing in? Americans' coffers are so loaded with your money. I don't know what to do with it. I think I'm going to build a $200 million ballroom. I think I'm going to pave over the Rose Garden. I think I'm going to unleash a bunch of military folks onto the streets and Proud Boy ICE agents into cities to harass and terrorize you. That's what he's using our money for. I think I'm going to take more of your social safety net programs and unleash them on you instead. I think I'm going to cut Medicare and Medicaid. I think I'm going to fuck up your life enough that you're mad and upset about it, but I've already got the guns in your faces. Almost like an authoritarian. Okay, so this is his response to that truth that was mentioned about where prices have gone and will continue to go. Trillions of dollars are being taken in on tariffs. It's the same line, which has been incredible for our country. Its stock market, its general wealth, and just about everything else. It has been proven that even at this late stage, tariffs have not caused inflation or any other problems for a country other than massive amounts of cash pouring into our treasury's coffers. Also, it's been shown that, for the most part, consumers aren't even paying these tariffs. It's most companies and governments, many of them foreign, picking up the tabs. But David Solomon, who was the Goldman Sachs guy, and Goldman Sachs refused to give credit where credit is due. They made a bad prediction a long time ago on both the market repercussion and the tariffs themselves, and they were wrong. Just like they're wrong about so much else. I thought I was misspeaking. He wrote that. They're wrong about so much else. I think that David should go and get himself a new economist, or maybe he ought to just focus on being a DJ and not bother running a major financial institution. This dumb sumbitch actually has the gumption to go and talk about someone else needing to get out of business when every business that he's been involved in got out of him because he screwed it up. There's like literal verifiable track records as to how bad this guy is at everything. And now that it's on full display in front of the country, this is how he destroyed businesses. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's an egomaniac. He thinks everything he says, even though it flies in the face of reality and normalcy and actual business smarts, he thinks that it'll just become real because he said so. Because no one's ever told him, Donnie, you're an idiot. Stop it. You lost. Bro, we're going under. Hey, you owe me money. One of those guys was Rudy Giuliani. Where's he been? He's been destitute, waiting for Donald Trump to pay his ass back for selling his soul for him. But still, so there's Donald Trump. He posted about how, that reality that was told to people about how they just need to get out of business because that's his response to everything, calling people losers and a bunch of names. But the problem with that whole thing is they stood by their declaration and they gave a little bit more information.
We stand by the results of this study. I think it's very early to be drawing definitive conclusions about how tariff costs will be shared. But in principle, tariff costs can be borne by foreign exporters, by U.S. businesses, or by U.S. consumers. Now, we've had tariffs in place on that very first round from China for about 5-6 months, so I think we have learned a little something. Our conclusion is that U.S. businesses have borne most of the tariff costs so far because it takes time to negotiate lower import prices or to pass price increases along to consumers. But if the most recent tariffs, like the April tariff, follow the same pattern that we've seen with those earliest February tariffs, then eventually, by the fall, we estimate that consumers would bear about 2/3 of the cost, foreign exporters would bear about 1/4 of the cost, and U.S. businesses would absorb less than 10%. That probably sounds small, less than 10%, but bear in mind that is a net number. If you are a company importing or using goods to sell in the U.S., you're going to get hit harder. If you are a company producing in the U.S. who is now protected from foreign competition, you can raise your prices and benefit. So those are our estimates, and I think actually they're quite consistent with what many other economists have found.
The nerdy economist just told you all the same things that everyone else has been telling you. But suddenly those guys who, if they say the things that Donald Trump wants them to say, they're geniuses. But when they tell you some reality and it's not working out for him, they need to go back to DJing. I don't know, whatever. But that's a total burn. And it totally doesn't change the fact that your prices have actually gone up and they're actually going to get worse. Because as that economist was saying, everyone's affected. Obviously, consumers first, businesses as well. But if you happen to be all made in America business, you can raise your prices. But how many of them are actually like that? Even if you're producing in the United States of America, made in the USA, which Donald Trump doesn't with his crap products, your costs will still go up. Here's a report from MSNBC that talked to this nail company in Missouri.
Nails than any other company in the United States.
But the nails are made with steel imported from Mexico, hit by a 25% tariff by the Trump administration.
We're going to charge a tariff on steel.
It's a 25% tariff that our customers are not willing to pay us for.
Chris Pratt oversees 500 employees here.
Where are we right now?
In a paper tape plant.
No longer in operation.
No longer in operation.
When the tariffs hit, Pratt says their customers balked.
We don't want your nails at your prices anymore because we can buy our nails cheaper somewhere else.
Where's somewhere else?
Somewhere else is mostly imports.
In other countries like?
China, Malaysia, Oman, Korea.
And jobs over there mean jobs lost here.
You've had to lay off how many?
We have eliminated 60 positions.
60 positions.
Yes. We should be thriving. We were doing pretty good.
And
but
now?
It's like you flip the light switch off, and it's all because of tariffs.
The employees are hopeful that this is just a bump in the road.
Did you vote for the president?
Absolutely.
What were you hoping for when you voted for the president?
Change.
Well, damn it, you definitely got that. Change, different from when you had some successes in this. Also, change in your pocket, like a dime and a couple of nickels. That's what you got from Donald Trump. It just exchanged those dollar bills for some change, you dumb. But still, as that report was talking about, there's competition. There's this weird thing. If you can get those materials for cheaper, you'll do it. Wow. It's crazy how that works. It's like basics. I wasn't an economic major, but I do know that the way humans with a certain amount of money react in a capitalistic society, they want to pay less for the same thing they can get. So, they'll do that.